ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी आस्याद्यादेशाचार्ये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Okay, welcome back. Session 2 of Karma. By introduction, my name is Madhvanand. For those of you who might not have been here last week Friday, who was not here last week Friday? Oh my goodness, where were you? So many of you were not here. Raise your hand again if you don't mind. Just raise your hand again if you are not here. Oh, half of the audience. Oh, I don't need all this.
Got it from Bhagavad.
Okay, Madha Vallabha, then I'll take it. I can't say no. Thank you.
Yesterday I got it from temple.
Oh, from temple.
Yeah.
Okay, then. Okay. Oh wow, what do we do? Half of you are new. To me at least. How many of you are here for the first time ever?
Second time.
Second time ever. Okay. So when was the last time you were here?
3 weeks ago.
3 weeks?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, okay.
First time.
First time ever? Oh, okay. Welcome. You've come to the right place. Okay. So, by coincidence, last week when we were talking about the topic of karma, the recorder didn't like it, both of them, and they crashed. So nothing was recorded for quality and training purposes. So for those of you who had to complain to Partha Sarthibabu that Madhvananda didn't do a good job, you have got no records. I survived. So what we will do, for the benefit of also those who are new, and for those who are first time, we will do a quick recap of what we discussed last time. And the way, I was given 2 weeks to talk about karma. So we had an elaborate discussion last week. We are talking about the topic of karma. And the way I had structured is to pack it with a lot of information. Somebody actually last week said when I was doing one-on-one discussion, she said it was a lot of information. And I completely agree with that. There was a lot of information last week. So that it allows us time today to do a lot of question and answers. So that's how it was structured. But because we have to kind of 7:40, because we have to recap. So let's go a little slower with recap. I had planned a very quick recap, but we'll go a slower recap so that you can get second chance to understand some of the concepts. And for those who are new, then you can face with this as well. Is that okay? Okay. So we started last week by talking about Bhagavad Gita, and we defined Bhagavad Gita. Let's do quick interactions as well. What does Bhagavad Gita mean?
Song.
Yeah, so Bhagavad means Bhagwan and Gita means song. So we are singing the glories of God, through Bhagavad Gita. Why Bhagavad Gita? Because Bhagavad Gita is a synopsis, is a quick summary of our entire Vedic knowledge. Now Vedic knowledge is vast. When did Vedic knowledge start? Quick, sorry, we can quick fast. When did it start? When was the first day of Vedic knowledge starting point? You know? Okay. So Vedic knowledge never started. So Vedic knowledge means it's Sanatan. Sanatan means it's eternal. Eternal means there is no beginning, there is no middle, there is no end. It's perpetual. So therefore our dharma is Sanatan, God is Sanatan, we are all Sanatan. Means we are eternal. The body is temporary, the soul is eternal. So there is no point in time that it began. Krishna says never was there a time when you didn't exist, I didn't exist, and never will there be a time that none of you will exist. So we are eternal. That's called Sanatan. So Vedic knowledge in Sanatan. And Vedic knowledge is also very vast. There is Vedas, and there is Ithiyasas. There is Ithiyasas, there is Puranas, there is Vedas, there is Upanishads, then there is Mahabharata, there is Ramayana, and then it goes on and on and on. There is never ending. So we don't have time in Kali Yuga to study all that. So Krishna, out of his causeless mercy, gave us a summary book, which is called Bhagavad Gita. So it's let's say a pocket dictionary. Now there is what do you call it? Advanced Learner's Oxford Dictionary or something like that. Advanced something. What is it? And then there is the pocket dictionary. Yeah, the meaning are the same. So what's the difference? In the pocket dictionary, it's a little bit more concise, to the point. Whereas in the Oxford Dictionary, it's much more elaborate, it's a more, and then some analogies and synopsis, not synopsis, some, synonyms and antonyms, all those things are given. So Bhagavad Gita is, for us, for today, is about pocket dictionary. Always keep it in your pocket. If you can't keep the physical book, then keep the soft copy in your pocket, literally. That's a Bhagavad Gita. So then Bhagavad Gita has got 18 chapters. How many of you read this? It's got 18 chapters, 6 chapters, first 6 chapters are talking about Karma Yoga. Actually, technically speaking, the first 5 chapters talks about Karma Yoga. The 6th chapter itself is titled as Ashtanga Yoga or Dhyana Yoga, which is same as Ashtanga Yoga. Then the next 6 chapters talk about Bhakti Yoga, which is chapter 7 to chapter 12. And then 13 to 18 talk about Jnana Yoga. So Krishna talks about 4 types of yoga in Bhagavad Gita. This we didn't discuss last week. 4 types of yoga: Karma Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and then Jnana Yoga. Krishna packs Bhakti Yoga in the center. Why? Because anything that is essential, you got to guard it. We lock it in the center if something is very, very valuable. So Krishna gives Bhagavad Gita in Bhakti Yoga in the center of Bhagavad Gita, which is the 9th chapter. And then in the 9th chapter, in the 18 chapters, what is the middle chapter? If 18 chapters are there, what's the middle chapter? 9. So in the 9th chapter, Krishna talks exclusively about Bhakti only. So Bhakti is packed in the middle 6 chapters. Of the middle 6 chapters, in the middle of the middle, which is the 9th chapter, Krishna packs Bhakti. So that's one chapter you should always read. It talks about Bhakti exclusively. Other chapters talk about other things as well, here and there, about Karma and Jnana and Bhakti Yoga. What is yoga?
To be one with self. To be one with oneself.
To be one with oneself is yoga. Okay. What is yoga? To way of living. What is yoga?
To be one with God.
To one with God. Yeah. What is yoga? Attachment. Okay. Let's define.
Not attachment. To join.
To join. Yeah. Very nice. Yeah. So yoga means
Connect with the God.
Connect with God. Very good. So take this. Okay. I look too elevated, which I am not. Okay, so yoga means comes from the Latin word, which is on Sanskrit root, but in Latin it means connect. Somebody said unite. So yoga means to connect. So what connect means what? You connect 2 things, right? You cannot connect one thing with the other. This microphone is connected to this holder like that. You connect Plenty Road to the Western Ring Road. So that's connected. That junction is connecting point. Yeah? So you connect 2 things. So yoga means connecting, and then what? Then the question becomes connect what to what. So you connect Atma to Paramatma. That is called yoga. The Jiva to Bhagavan, that is called yoga. So we have the Jivas, and when you connect us to the Bhagavan, that is called yoga. Right? So let's say we want to connect to Melbourne City. How many ways are there to go to Melbourne City? So many ways, yeah? So now we want to go to God. There are many ways to go to God as well, So what is Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga? These are all different ways to reach God. Of these ones, all of them have to eventually culminate into Bhakti Yoga as a visa criteria for Vaikuntha. Karma Yoga is good, Jnana Yoga is good, Ashtanga Yoga is all good. But eventually they have to culminate into Bhakti Yoga as a visa entry criteria to Vaikuntha. You following me for now? And we'll define each of the yoga, and then we'll see why Bhakti Yoga is the culmination. The reason being Bhakti Yoga is the topmost yoga, and it is the entry criteria to Vaikuntha, is because Bhakti means love. Bhakti means love. Bhakti means prem. And to know somebody, if I want to know somebody, I cannot know what is in their heart unless I build trust, unless I love, unless there is loving relationship. If I ask you, can you give me your bank details? Immediately no. But what if your spouse was to ask for it? No? You have to. And if you don't, she'll demand it anyway. That's another story. We won't go there. But in a family, the grown-up children, the spouse, they know your details. No? And your girlfriend and your boyfriend, they know the inner chambers of your heart. Why? Because there is trust. So God also wants only those people in His kingdom whom He trusts. And those are called pure devotees, as simple as that. Why? Why is only God subjugated to His pure devotees and only those can go to Vaikuntha, those who love God? Why not others?
Because He created us for love.
That is true. You remember the answer from last week? That's good, because He created us for love. That is true. The other thing is also because Krishna, sometime Prabhupada was asked this question, Swamiji, can you make me God? And Prabhupada responded like this. He said, I cannot make you God, but I can make you bigger than God. It's amazing. I cannot make you God, but I can make you bigger than God. How? Because when we love somebody, we conquer that person. When we love somebody, we conquer that person. Matlab, we win over that person. Then that person is willing to do anything for us. When I love somebody, like when a father loves his son, I've got a 14-year-old. So when I love my son, I will be willing to do anything for him. I'm conquered by my son's love. Clear? I'm conquered by him. A man is conquered by the wife because he is conquered by the love. So when we conquer Krishna, he is subjugated to us. In bhakti, the devotee is subjugated to Krishna, to God, and God is subjugated to the devotee. So there is a competition of subjugation. You get the point? One is willing to die for the other. How many of you know Ramayana pastime little? Ramayana and Sagar, Ramayana, you have read all that? So in Ramayana, when there is a fierce competition, a loving competition between Bharat Maharaj and Lord Ram. Both of them are not willing to be the king when Ram was exiled. So there is loving exchange between the two. Both of them are willing to die for each other. That is called love. Ram is willing to die for Bharat, not that he will die because he is supreme personality of Godhead. And Bharat is willing to do anything for Lord Ram. That's called pure, selfless love. So, and Bharat also wins over Ram, although Ram is Maryada Purushottam, cannot do anything wrong, but still he loses to Bharat in the competition of who is going to be the king. Why? Because Bharat's love towards Ram is selfless. And Ram says, now I'm subjugated to you. I'm ready to do whatever you want me to do. And then Bharat says in response, I'm also ready to do whatever you want me to do. So we'll leave that story for another day. Yeah? So God is subjugated by the devotee. So when we go there, if Krishna is to subjugate to us, then he has to trust us. And if we have to be trustworthy, it can only be generated when there is love. Otherwise there can be betrayal. So that's why pure devotee is the criteria for Vaikuntha. Yeah? So Bhakti Yoga means love. So let's define yoga. Yoga means connection. Connection means connecting to, in this context it means connecting the devotee to the God. Connecting Jiva to Bhagavan. Connecting Atma to Paramatma means all the same thing. Yeah? Okay. So then, what is Jnana Yoga? Jnana means knowledge. Jnana means knowledge. Jnana Yoga means therefore, so if you can remember this definition, I'll test somebody on this spot. So yoga means connection. Jnana means knowledge. So therefore Jnana knowledge means connecting the Atma to the Bhagavan through knowledge. Is it hard? Not at all. So now you know the definition of Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga is defined as connecting the Jiva to Bhagavan through knowledge. Matlab, you get knowledge about Bhagavan and you connect with him. Karma Yoga therefore means, and raise your hand. Try to define. Yes?
Connecting to Bhagavan using akarma.
Connecting what to Bhagavan?
Connecting Jiva.
So proper definition, right? Otherwise connecting to Bhagavan might mean connecting blue tech or something. No? Has to be proper definition, right? We are all scientific. So Karma Yoga therefore is defined as connecting Jiva to Bhagavan through karma. Right? Karma means activity, Jnana means knowledge. So let's put it properly in English. Karma Yoga means connecting Jiva to Bhagavan using through activities. Matlab you work for God. You do something for God. Now, Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga means austerities. You do tapasya. It has got 8 limbs. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. So 8 limbs of Ashtanga Yoga, right? So this means, you go through all these stages. You don't worry about what those technically means, those steps, right? That's not the subject matter for the day. But you get an idea. Ashta means 8 and Anga means limbs. So 8 Angas of Ashtanga Yoga. So you connect to go through those asanas, pranayamas, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana and samadhi. Eventually samadhi means absorption in Bhagavan. So you connect like that. Now all of these are good. The difference between these 3 yoga and Bhakti Yoga is that in the 3 yogas that when you do something, you are on your own. There is not much of reciprocation from God to help you come closer to Him. Why? Because He is looking for love only. And we are trying to do all these things, in a difficult way. Whereas in Bhakti Yoga, our endeavor can be 5%, Krishna will put in 95% to get him closer to you. Why? Because you love somebody, you win somebody, right? He will be willing to do something. For example, if my child now, let's say, an example, my child wants to get an iPhone. That's all they want, right? These days. That's all they want anyway. Or MacBook, He wants a MacBook. Now he can approach me in so many ways. Ashtanga yoga. Means what? Throw some tantrum, show some mood, all those dramas they do to get a MacBook from me. Like that. So he can do that. Or he can do karma yoga, which is what? Do a lot of housework, chores, throw the rubbish, do the dishes and all that. Try to impress me so that I can get him a MacBook. Or he can do jnana. Jnana means what? Try to find out my bank account details, my credit card details, and then just go and buy it from Havinava. So he can get that MacBook either way. Or the other one is he just loves me and just be naturally loving me. Then I'll be conquered, right? I'll naturally buy that because that's the role of our father. So you see how easily it is to win somebody through love? That's how we win Krishna. So all those other yogas, when our endeavor is 95%, Krishna might put in 5%. In Bhakti Yoga, we put in 5%, Krishna will put in 95%. Yoga Kshema Vahameham. He will preserve what we have and he will supply what we lack. That is Bhakti Yoga. So Bhagavad Gita talks about it. So the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita is what? Sarvadharman parityaja mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshishyami ma suja. This is Bhagavad Gita 18.66. This is the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. At 66, Bhagavad Gita stops. It goes till verses 72, 74 maybe. But after 66, Bhagavad Gita stops and Krishna talks about the concluding words. So 66 is the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. For those who don't know, maybe just go home and read 18.66. Yeah. So Sarva Dharman Parityaja means what? Give up all different type of activities. Ma Mekam Sharanam Vraja. Sharanam means what? Shelter. Sharanagati. Surrender. Come to me. Just come to me. And then I will give you protection. Don't worry. In Australia we say no worries might. So Krishna says Ma Sucha. Such means worry. Ma Sucha means no worries. So Krishna also speaks this language. Alright. We speak the language of Krishna. No worries might Krishna says. So just come to Krishna. So that is Bhagavad Gita. Now within you clear so far? Anybody any questions on these topics? No? All clear? You okay? You still with us? You don't want to leave? No, just testing. Okay. So within Bhagavad Gita there are 5 subject matters. Okay. 18 chapters, 4 type of yogas. Sometimes we loosely say 3 type of yogas because Ashtanga Yoga is just literally 1 chapter, 6. So it kind of gets concluded with, or not concluded, but aggregated with Karma Yoga, right? So if technically, 4 yogas, you could also say 3. You can get away with that. Now we're talking about 5 subject matters in Bhagavad Gita. What are the 5 subject matters in Bhagavad Gita?
Jiva, Kala,
Karma,
Prakriti.
4. Your Bhagavad Gita has got 4.
and one phrase, one more. Ishwar.
Yeah, Ishvara. So 3 J's and 2 K's. That's how I try to remember. It's easier for me. 3 J's. Jagat, Jiva, Jagadish. Jagat means Prakriti, material world. Jiva means us, the soul. And Jagat and Jagadish means world. Right? So 3 J's and 2 K's. Karma and Kala. So last week Friday we spoke in quite detail, not detail, but like a brief kind of, or enough sufficient details about the 3 J's, which was Jagadish, Jagat and Jiva. And then we started dwelling into the 2 K's, which is Karma. And that was the topic of last week. And then Kala we didn't even touch, but we'll talk about Karma and Kala today. Yeah, we'll complete Karma and then talk about Kala. But before we do that, let's recap the 3 J's. So let's start with Jagadish. So Jagadish means God. Who is God? What is definition of God?
Who possesses all opulences, full opulences.
Full opulences. How many opulences?
Unlimited.
Good students, yeah. Unlimited opulences, yeah. Krishna has. What does Bhagavan mean? What does Bhag and Van mean?
One who
Bhag means?
Full of fortune.
Yeah, full of what is forget Bhagavan for now. Let's come back to our test. What does Dhanavan mean?
full of money.
So what does Dhan mean?
Money.
Well, and what does Van mean?
Who possesses.
Who possesses. So Dhanvan means that person who possesses wealth. What does Vidyavan mean?
Vidya who possesses
Who
knowledge.
possesses Vidya. So what does Bhagavan mean?
All the
One who possesses Bha. Simple, na? So all these definitions, simple. Dhanwan means one who possesses Dhan. Vidyavan means one who possesses Vidya. Then Bhagavan means one who possesses Bha. Simple. So then question is, what is the Bhag? And how many Bhag? And there is unlimited opulences Krishna has. How much Vidya we have? Minor. We don't even know how our body operates. Forget about everything else. Krishna not only knows how our body operates, but he knows everybody's body how it operates. So there is unlimited knowledge. How much wealth he has? Unlimited wealth, And then how much opulences he has got? Everything is unlimited about him. There is no limit to it. That person is Bhagwan. So any of you Bhagwan here? No, just testing in case somebody has got everything. Okay, no Bhagwans? Okay, thank God. Oh, makes my life easier. Otherwise you have to sit here. So if anybody proclaims to be Bhagwan in front of you next time, ask him this question, what are your opulences? Arjuna asked Krishna in Bhagavad Gita chapter 10, what are your opulences? So you test Bhagwan. A devotee can test Bhagwan. Arjuna knows Krishna is Bhagwan. But why does he still ask that question? So that you and I can have firm faith. There is Shraddha and there is Nishtha. What is the difference? Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajan Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Nishtha. The Navadha Bhakti, right? So we talk about the 9 steps of Bhakti. Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajan Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Nishtha. Forget about Asakti, Ruchi, and Prema for later. But so what's the difference between Shraddha and Nishtha? Shraddha is faith. Nishtha is firm faith, conviction. I'm convinced about it. I believe it, I've got some faith in this, but I'm not convinced about it. Like that. Will this tablet work on me? I may have some faith and take it because the doctor is saying so. But when I've taken it, it didn't work on me, I know it has recovered me from my problem, then I'm convinced this is the tablet to take for next time. So see how conviction develops from faith. Eventually it's faith, but then conviction. So to give us that faith, and then later on we can develop it into conviction, Arjuna asked this question to Krishna, show me your opulences. And Krishna shows the whole Virat Roop. And after that Krishna, in chapter 10, says all these different opulences. Dekho. It's not that only Krishna saw the Arjuna saw the Virat Roop. Everybody else also saw the Virat Roop. Why? So that we can't say in the future, only Arjuna saw it. Maybe Arjuna is lying because Krishna to uska dost tha. Jhoot bol diya. No, something like people can argue like this. So then everybody saw. Even Dhritarashtra saw. And all the devatas also saw that Krishna is God, like that. So, unlimited opulences, demonstrated, proven, evidence, documented, no doubts. That's God. So if anybody claims to you to be God tomorrow, ask him to show you his opulence. He should be able to show you his Virat Roop. Not somebody who is on a wheelchair. Sometimes we see Bhagavan on a wheelchair in India. Bhagavan cannot be in a wheelchair. He doesn't need a walking stick.
I know whom you are referring.
No, many. In India there is passport Baba, Bhagavan, this Baba, visa Baba, university Baba, oh my Baba, like this. You are God, I am God, oh my God. Everybody is God in India. That's India. One God in India recently said, that I stopped the sun because I was getting ready late for my puja, then I stopped the sun. And people are, Bhagavan ki jai. Rascals only. Like that. So they are not God. So Bhagavan. So we talked about Bhagavan. Bhagavan is the original person, Adi Purusha, not this Hollywood movie Adi Purusha. He is the Adi Purusha, original personality of Godhead. That's Bhagavan. He is the supreme person. Matlab he is the self-manifested person. Everything comes from everything, correct? Anybody here who just manifested? Or you all came from your mother? Okay, somebody else. Some of you are not talking, so I just presume you know. I don't know who you are. See, I seriously don't know. Anybody from India? Just a joke to make you. So everything comes from, we came from our parents came from their parents, so on and so forth. When you keep going up the chain, then you end up with monkeys, correct? No, that's Darwin's crab theory, right? Yeah. That God, we came from monkeys. One time, a boy went to his father and he said, Dad, you always tell me that we came from Bhagavan originally, but Mummy is saying we came from monkeys. Is that what she has studied in school? Now it's the Mummy says monkey, you said Bhagavan, whom do I believe? Dad said, son, both of us are correct. Mummy is talking about her ancestors. I won't complete it. I'm talking about my ancestors. Mataji, don't mind. Don't throw anything at me. That's just to wake you up. That's all. There's nothing hidden about it. Okay, so like that. So everybody, eventually when you culminate it into, it comes from Bhagavan. He is the original. Mamayamsha jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita that everybody is my amsha. Amsha means what? Like my part, my pasa, my fragmented part. Everybody is an expansion of Krishna. For example, anybody wearing gold chain? Or any gold, yeah? So gold. So where did that gold come from? Where did you get it from?
India.
Yeah, okay, so where in India did you get it from?
Gold shop.
Gold shop, yeah? So see, it came from India. But where did it in India come from? It came from some gold shop. Now where did the gold shop owner get it from? Probably from another wholesaler. Now you keep tracking back the supply chain. Eventually you end up where? Eventually you end up in a gold mine. Yeah? So what is a gold chain? It is a fragmented part of a gold mine. You get it? It has to come from gold mine. Nowhere else. Absolutely not possible. It has to be gold mine. So Krishna is the gold mine and we are the gold particles. So just as the gold is the expansion of the gold mine, we are an expansion of Krishna. So how many gold particles are there in the world? Unlimited. How many gold mines are there? No, that's probably also unlimited. But you get the point. There are unlimited gold particles. So there are unlimited particles like us which are called jivas. We are the soul which is a fragment of the gold mine Krishna. Prabhupada gives the example of water. You take a drop of. So what is the? Let's come back to the water example in a second. But keep with the gold. In the gold, that gold chain that Mataji is wearing, the characteristic of that gold chain. What is the gold made up of? Is that different from what the gold in the gold mine is made up of? But assume this is 24 karat and the gold mine also has got 24 karat. So is there any difference? No. What is the difference, if any? Quantity. But the quality is the same. Yeah. So Prabhupada gives the example of the water as well. You take a drop of ocean and you take the ocean. There is no difference in the composition of the water. It's still the same whatever, chemicals and whatever. H2O at the end of the day. But the quantity is different. You cannot float a boat in this cup. But you can sing Titanic in the ocean. Not like that. Or even MH37? 137 something? 37. Yeah, that vanished, nobody found it. It's a huge jumbo aircraft, but in front of the ocean it's minuscule. So like that. But the quality of the water is same. So we by nature are also Satchit Ananda. Satchidananda. Lord is also Satchidananda. So the similarity between us and Bhagavan is what? God is Satchidananda, we are also Satchidananda. The difference is what? He is unlimited Satchidananda, we are limited Satchidananda. That's the difference. So we talked about God now, who He is, what is He made up of, and then who we are, expansion of what, which is Jiva, and we are made up of the same element, which is Satchidananda. It's just that God is unlimited, we are limited. We are not the body. That's the other point. We think we are the body, but we are not the body. We are the soul. The soul inside us. We think we are human being on a spiritual journey. That's what we think. But the reality is, we are a spiritual being on a human journey, which will finish very, very soon. Maximum 100 years. 100 years, forget it now. In my case, 30 years, if I'm lucky. Like that. So we are a spiritual being on a human journey. After this, we will transmigrate to another body, and we'll talk about transmigration time by meeting. Yeah. So Jiva and Jagat and Jagadish, Bhagavan and Atma and Paramatma. Clear with this? This is two concepts of Bhagavad Gita. Very, very briefly. Then we talk about Jagat. Jagat is the Prakriti, which is the three modes of material nature. In English, in modern days, we say Mother Nature, which is Prakriti only. Yeah. Or three gunas: Rajagun, Tamagun, and Sattvagun. So modes of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. So what is Jagat? Jagat is that place which is not the spiritual world. So there is a spiritual world which is called Vaikuntha. In Vaikuntha there are different realms such as Goloka, Vrindavan, and then Ayodhya, then Mayapur, then Vrindavan. All those things are in the spiritual world. The original, Krishna brings the replica to the material world. So the Vrindavan that we have in India is a replica of the Vrindavan in the spiritual world. For example, do we have Indian embassy in Australia? Yeah, in Canberra or Melbourne? Canberra, yeah. So the Indian embassy in Canberra is a representation, a replica of the Indian system in India. You get it? So when Modi comes here, so he will bring his own entourage. He will bring pretty much India here. And if he was to go to a more underdeveloped country, let's say Somalia or something, somebody from India will go ahead of Prime Minister Modi to Somalia and create a mini India there. A nice resort, a nice meeting rooms, all those things will be arranged before Modi comes. So when he walks into Somalia, he will feel as if he's in his own country, because the replica will be built in Somalia for the convenience of the Prime Minister, like that. And he'll come with it. When he eventually comes, he'll come with his own entourage. So similarly, Krishna, who is in the spiritual world, Bhagavan, he's got his own dhams there. So when he is to descend to material world, descend in Sanskrit means avatar. Avatar means literally from higher realm to the lower realm. So that's called descending or avatar. So when Bhagavan comes from the spiritual world into the material world, when he takes avatar, he comes with his own trust, like Arjun, Hanumanji, so on and so forth, Vasudev, So he comes with his whole team. And the team then here does some lila, just as when Modi came to Australia, there was some lila, let's call it Modi lila. So when Ram comes here, then there is Ram lila. When there is Krishna coming here, it's called Krishna lila. It's the same concept, you get the point. So why does God come here? Why does God take avatar? To save us. Because he wants us to go paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha duskritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Paritranaya sadhunam means to save the devotees. Sadhu means devotees. So to protect the devotees is why God takes incarnation. Vinashaya cha duskritam. Vinash means to destroy. Duskritam means those who are not devotees. So to kill. And then dharma samsthapanarthaya. Dharma samsthapanarthaya means to reestablish the Dharma. So three reasons God comes. Why did Ram take incarnation? Ram take avatar? Raise your hand. Bhagwan Ram क्यों अवतार लिए थे? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Why did Ram take avatar? Yes. Okay. Anybody else? Ram का अवतार क्यों होता? हाँ? To protect dharma. Okay. Yes? Same as above? All the three? Okay. Now let me rephrase the question. What was the main reason for Ram to take avatar? Raise your hand again. What was the main reason for his avatar? Yes?
To save devotees.
To save devotees.
Like Shabri, she created the prayer.
Okay. So let's understand this. So Bhagwan का अवतार तीन कारण का होता है. परित्राणाय साधुना, विनाशाय च दुष्कृतम, dharma samsthapanarthaya, and this is exactly in that order. So first reason Bhagavan takes avatar is paritranaya sadhuna. Second reason, vinashaya च दुष्कृतम. Third reason, dharma samsthapanarthaya. So अभी अगर सवाल हुआ कि भगवान का अवतार क्यों होता है, तो पहला रीजन राम का अवतार हुआ था परित्राणाय साधुना, जैसे कि माता सबरी. Why did Ram go to Lanka? Primary reason why did Ram go to Lanka? No, because Sita is also Bhagwan. Sita is also Bhagwan. Huh? To say Vivekshana. Paritranaya sadhunam. You see, you follow me now? Paritranaya sadhunam is always the first reason for any lila. So why did Ram go to Lanka? To say Vivekshana. And to say Vivekshana, he sends Mother Sita. Just as I said, when Modi has to come, the entourage has to come. So Ram sends Mother Sita to Lanka. We think that Mother Sita was kidnapped, but actually Ram sends Mother Sita to Lanka, so that he can go to Lanka to save Vibhishan. Why? Because Bhagwan Bhakt ke bas mein hai. It's called Bhakta Vatsala, which is conquered by love. So Ram is conquered by Vibhishan's love, and just to protect him, he does all this lila which bewilders many people. You say, Mother Sita karan kaise hua? So most of the time we think that Ram went to Lanka to kill Ravana. That's the secondary reason, Vinashaya Duskrita. But Paritranaya Sadhanam is the first reason to save Vibhishan, to protect him. And the Lord personally goes there. For example, let's say in our case, if our child is lost, how will we find him? Call the police, yeah? And let's say he's lost somewhere in Bali. What will we do? As parents, what will we do? Huh?
We go to Bali.
First thing, we have got no ability to find him actually, but we'll still go to Bali. What makes us go to Bali? Love. That's all. We know that we are helpless there. Police will do whatever they have to do, but we must be there. It just feels good to be there. So what is the pulling factor? Love only. So what is the pulling factor for Vibhishan? That Ram gets pulled? Love only. So bhakti. So then we talked about Bhagwan and Jiva. I think enough of that. We need to come back to karma and conclude it, right? So Bhagwan and Jiva. Then we talked about Jagat, and I was saying there is this place which is not the spiritual world but the material world, which is where we are at the moment imprisoned. So we need to get out of this entanglement of imprisonment and release through the process of love. Once we love Lord, then we get released from here. That's why we are at the moment going through all this craziness in the material world. So that's material world, yeah? Jagadish. So Jagat, Jiva and Jagadish. Then we talked about karma, and then we'll finish with Kala. So with karma, 8:14 now. Karma, we started by saying karma means activity, and karma then has got 3 branches. So branch A, not A, in one branch here, let's finish this bad one first, which is called Vikarma. Vikarma means bad activities. Why? Who defines it's good or bad?
Based on scriptures.
Based on scriptures. Just as who decides whether a prisoner is wrong or right? No? Based on constitution of the state. According to Victorian law, somebody will be punished or rewarded. How do we know that accounting is fair and true and fair view? Based on the accounting standard. So everything has got a law. Similarly, we have got a law book which is called scriptures, which is called shastras. So when we do activities that are not in accordance with the shastras, we are literally breaking the law, as simple as that. So what is law and what are the activities that are against the law? We'll talk about that later. But for now, just in principle, those activities that are not in accordance with law book is called vikarma, bad activity or papa. Okay. Then we come to the other side, 2 other branches, and these are activities in accordance with the law book. So these are law abiders. They were law breakers. These were law abiders. For example, I was driving here. I live in Port Melbourne, so I was driving here. No? So on the freeway, the speed limit is 100. Now, if I drive at 120, what happens? I get a fine. Most likely I'll get a fine because there's cops everywhere, right? So why do I get a fine? Because I'm breaking the law. Now if I'm driving at 95, 97, then I'm within the law. Then I'm not punished. But whether I'm wrong or right is still dependent on the same book. The same book decides whether I'm to be punished or not to be punished. It's not judgmental. No? It's scientific. There's a speed camera, catches me, I'm gone. Simple. No? So like that. So in our scriptural law book, there are rules and regulations. Vidhi. If you break the vidhi, then we are against the rule and we get punished. How do we know we get punished? I think all of us got experiences. The suffering that's coming to us is punishment only. We get $100 fine for ticket, we whinge. Just imagine all the other suffering that comes to our body. The death of near and dear ones, cancer of our friend, study in the university till midnight. After that, you don't get a job. You get a job for 3 days, then you get redundant. So all this jhanjat is going on in our life. This is all only reactions of our bad activities. So there is vikarma. Then in terms of the good activities which is within the law are called karma and akarma. We didn't talk much about akarma last week. We started and we ran out of time. So let's talk about karma. Karma are those activities that are within the scriptural regulations and regulated activities. So then we talked about the reactions of vikarma. Let's go back to the other branch. For the vikarma, the bad activities, the reactions are bad reactions. The destination is Patal Loka or earthly planetary system or lava species like animal kingdom. Born as a snake or a monkey or a dog or a cat. If you want to be born as a dog, then probably Melbourne is a good place, yeah? You get to sit in, you get to sit in Mercedes. But in India, Gali ka kutta, But, your owner will kiss you here if you're a dog, Oh my love. You can't call it eat here. Like dog has to be respected. I live in an apartment and there's only one lift. So then there is dog and there is us as well. Why didn't the dog do a headstand? Headstand, Nantakya? Sirsasana? Why did the dog do a Sirsasana? It's a riddle. Because it wanted to become God. So D-O-G and G-O-D. And that's us. We feel like becoming God, and that's why all this suffering. As you said, the dog cannot do headstand, and we try to do headstand. Kitna der karenge, Tag jayenge. Okay. Pedal. So like that. So then we are talking about the karma, which is good activities, but they are not necessarily loving in nature. Good activities are not necessarily always loving in nature. Then there the other branch, which is the main branch, which is akarma. Sorry, before that, what was the reaction of good activity? Good reaction. And destination? Earth or human body or?
Spiritual world.
Yeah.
For some
Not spiritual world, but upper
upper
planet.
planet.
Yeah, like Swarga Loka and all that. Swarga Loka is not the spiritual world, by the way. Yeah? We were also led to believe that Swarga Loka is in the spiritual world. Swarga Loka is not in the spiritual world. How many planets, how many universes there? How many universes in the material world? Unlimited. Then we zoomed into one universe. How many planets in one universe? 14 planetary system. We are in the middle. It's called earthly planetary system. So Swarga is the one above us. No? Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha. So the Swaha is the Swarga Loka, right? And then after that there is Atala, no, not Atala, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka. No? Like the topmost is the Brahma Loka. So Swarga Loka is even below Brahma Loka in the material creation. So it's not, so Swarga Loka is like going to, people aspire for Swarga Loka, right? So Swarga Loka is nothing but like going to Switzerland. You work very hard and get a bonus from your office and the boss says, you go to Switzerland for 2 weeks. How will we feel? Great. After 2 weeks, when your credit card is exhausted, back to 2-bedroom, no 1-bedroom flat in Melbourne, and then renting with flatmates and all that. And then morning tram, in your cold wintry weather. Back to Melbourne. So Swarga Loka is nothing but Switzerland 2 weeks school holidays or 2 weeks best employer award holidays. And then after that, office mein, fir Pratamaro, like that every day. So then back to where? Back to reality. So this is Swarga Loka. So we karma, bad activity, bad reaction, bad destination. Simple. Karma, good activity, good reaction, good destination. Now then we go to akarma. So if both of them are getting reactions, then we want something that is giving us, and both of them, when the good and the bad reactions are material in nature. Now we want to do something that is spiritual in nature, that is called akarma, which is called bhakti yoga. Akarma is a synonym for bhakti yoga. That's why I was trying to define to you bhakti yoga, so that we can connect now. So akarma is a synonym for bhakti yoga. So what does akarma mean? Okay, yeah, but that's the synonym.
Connection of Atma to Paramatma with love.
Connecting to God with love, prema, whatever you call it. So connecting to God. So in akarma there is no material reaction. Material reactions are binding in nature. In akarma there are no material reactions. There are only spiritual reactions. You put in 5%, Krishna will put in 95%, and that's the success to spiritual world. Destination, spiritual world. Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha means a place where there is no anxiety. Kuntha means anxiety. Vai means no. So Vaikuntha is a place where there is no anxiety, and this place is full of anxiety. This is Kuntha. So at the moment we are made up of what? Sat Chit Ananda. But we are entrapped in what? We are entrapped in Asat, Achit and Nirananda. So Asat means what? Not eternal. Asat means eternal. Asat means not eternal. So our body is Asat. I don't know. So our body is Asat, means it's temporary. So by constitution we are the Jiva, which is Sachidananda. We are trapped in something that is Asat, which is temporary. Body is temporary. And then Asat and Achit. Chit means knowledge, and this body is a place of ignorance because we don't know everything. And then Ananda means bliss, pleasure, happiness, and Nirananda means miseries, suffering. So something that is constitutionally Satchit Ananda, you trap it inside something that is Asat, Achit and Nirananda, how will he feel? You take the fish out of water and put him right here in front of the TV and put on Foxtel, or maybe Wimbledon is going on, right? You put on the TV, or you put on the tennis, and give that gold chain that Mataji is wearing to the fish, and give him an iPhone and an iPad, and say, Mr. Fish, you enjoy whole night, sit on this sofa, or this Vasasan and enjoy. What will happen to fish? Why? Are TV hai? Tells you. Why not his place? What's wrong? What's missing? Water. Because it's out of its constitutional position. It will flap and flip and die. So we laugh at that fish, but we are that small fish. We are that fish that is looking for water, and that water, reservoir water is Krishna. We are searching for it. But what we think is that we will sit in front of this TV on that sofa and become happy. And we don't become happy. Have you experienced this? We think this thing will make us happy, but it doesn't. It's always, what's the word? Elusive? Alluding? What is the word? Elusive? Illusion means maya, but alluding means what? It's coming, but it's not coming, right? It alludes you. Eh?
For short time. For short time.
Yeah. So it's chapal, it comes and goes. So we want something and we think that once we get it, we will be happy forever. Once I go to Melbourne and get my degree from Melbourne University, I will be the king of the world. That's what we thought. And then when we came to Melbourne and then we went to university and we got our degree, we said, when the first paycheck comes, I will buy my black shoes, suit, tie, and then with all those, what do you call it, the jackets and Kathmandu jacket, not a cheap jacket, but it has to be Kathmandu jacket. And then maybe I'll go to Maya and buy a nice suit. Maya means what? Maya only, right? That's why people go to Backstreet. It's a place of Maya only. And then we think we'll look flashy, like Shah Rukh Khan, and life will be happy. And then we got the first paycheck. We got all the clothes. And then we didn't become happy. Then we said, one day, अभी तो नौकरी मिल गया, जिंदगी में दो ही चीज चाहिए, एक नौकरी और एक छोकरी. So नौकरी मिल गया, then we were looking for a छोकरी. Then we found a girl. And I told you, no message last week. Then we found the girl, and we got married. अगर इस लड़की से मेरे साथ शादी हो गया, मौसी, वीरू, जय का शादी से करा देते हैं, all the Sholay dialogue we remember. And then we got fell in love, and we thought life will become happy. And somebody said, get married here, it's a walk in the park. Nobody told us it's a Jurassic Park. That people don't care. That you have to discover yourself, right? Then we walked in the park. दिल्ली का लड्डू जो खाए वो पछता है, जो ना खाए वो भी पछता है. So we thought चलो शादी कर लेते, क्या बुरा. Then we thought we'll get happy. शादी के बाद में जिम्मी अभी तो बच्चे आई है, 2 बच्चे आए ना, life will be good ना. अभी नौकरी मिल गया, छोकरी मिल गया, घर मिल गया, बंगला, प्यारा एक बंगला हो, बंगले में गाड़ी हो, गाड़ी में मेरे संग बलमा नाड़ी हो. हमने फिर this one. Hey, from India. So like this, a very old song, that I used to listen in my. How come you don't know? Maybe you're not as romantic as I was. Hey, recorded now? Oh, oh, I'm in trouble. Oh, quality and training purposes. Only Bhagavad Gita verses, no Bollywood, right? Oh, Krishna. Anyway, so then we thought we'll get married and we'll be happy. But then, I don't know about happy. Something else came. And then one house we'll buy, and the moment the mortgage is paid, we'll be happy. And then we bought the house and paid off the mortgage. Then another house we bought. And then uska mortgage. The rigmarole just goes on and on and on and on. And my goodness, then we sit back and think, where's the happiness gone? इससे अच्छा तो इंडिया ही था ना, गली में बच्चों के साथ फ्रेंड्स के साथ क्रिकेट खेल रहे थे. And then at least माँ का हाथ का प्यार का रोटी तो मिलता था. यहाँ तो कोल्स का लेना पड़ता है, वो भी my goodness, 3 महीना पुराना रोटी frozen. From frozen to microwave to the mouth. Is that happiness? Seriously? At least our elders were more happier, right? शांत से बैठकर खाते थे. वो भी पूरा थाली में. अभी तो my goodness, वो Helga's का bread. I mean, it's like eating cardboard. And we think we are happy. So where's the happiness gone? Previously, 5 families, extended families with 20 in the family, were happily living in 1 bedroom house. Now, 1 couple in 5 bedroom house, divorce after 6 months. Literally, agree? So many people were happily living in 1 bedroom house, no complaints. Now one husband and wife cannot live in 5 bedroom house. It's small for them because there is fight. So what is missing? The love is missing. We are looking for happiness is our constitutional position. It's our constitutional right. Because we are made of happiness. Satchit Ananda. So it is our constitutional right to look for happiness. And that's what the soul is hankering for. So that's correct. But what is wrong? We are looking for happiness in the wrong place. The fish is looking for happiness on a chair in front of a plasma TV. It will die. Happiness will not come. No matter what movie you put on. Nemo. Finding Nemo. Even finding Nemo, he will not be happy. Because it's looking for the wrong thing, right thing in the wrong place. And we are like those little Nemos, looking for happiness in material pleasure, money, clothes, cars, shoes. How many pairs of shoes, Mataji's? Many pairs of shoes. Even I have probably 10 pairs now. I feel sad, embarrassed to admit. There is one for badminton, there is one for walking, there is one for running, there is one for office, there is one for cold, there is one for warm, there is one for inside the house, there is one for outside the house. But sometimes I feel, what is happening to me? So many pairs of chappal, not necessary. My dad told he only had 2 chappal, and he was happy with that. And if one gets broken, still he would wear it. For us, no, we can't because it's embarrassing. One time, one man was walking, and he was dragging his feet. So dragging. And in the house, in the office, they were highly advanced doctors assembled for some discussions, for some seminar. So they observed this man walking on the footpath, just ordinary man on the footpath. He was dragging his one feet, limping. So then they were discussing, then the physiotherapist said, there is something in his ligament, in his Achilles tendon. And that's why, it's causing that kind of gait, when he has to drag one feet and not able to walk. So that's what the physio guy said. Then, the neurosurgeon said, no, something is in the brain. And, the signal from his feet is not going to the brain, and that's why he's limping. So like that, many, scientists, doctors, they were giving the opinion of why they were limping. And there was one chaiwala, and he was hearing all this, simple chaiwala guy, tea man. And he said, maybe you're right, but maybe we should just ask him now why he's limping. Maybe he will give the answer. So they said, that's a good idea. So they called him inside, the guy who was limping, Ramu. And Ramu came inside the conference hall, and he said, we've got so much, information about you that we think, might be the reason for your limping. Can you tell us why you're limping? He said, my chappal is broken and I'm limping. He said, I was walking and my chappal got broken, and I'm just trying to save it, so I'm limping. So this is knowledge. This is illusion. The reality is something else, and we've got all these sophisticated ideas to make it complicated for something that is so simple. It just needs a new chappal. That's about it. Yeah? So like that. So the jiva is looking for happiness, and that is our right, but we are looking for it in the wrong place. You can never find sugar in a salty, godam क्या बोलते हैं हिंदी English में? Godam? No, not godam को क्या बोलते हैं? वो जो store house, warehouse, क्या बोलते हैं? Godown, yeah, you call it, yeah. So like, you cannot find sugar in a salt warehouse. So we are trying to find sugar in a salt warehouse. Oh, salt ही मिलेगा यार, वो salt का warehouse है. You get the point? So if you are looking for happiness, then if you are doing vikarma, it will not come. If you are doing karma, it will come, but in a very, very minute scale. It will satisfy you, but then it will elude you again. But if you are looking for real happiness, which is the spiritual pleasure, it is in bhakti, which is in saving God, because that's why God made us, as Mataji was saying. So when we do our karma, there is no material reaction. There is only spiritual reaction, which is only bliss. That's why in bhakti people are blissful. And I'm talking now through my own experience. I've been there, done that. I'm ex-auditor by profession, traveled most of the places in the world, made everything. But 2010, maybe 13 years ago, I bumped into ISKCON devotees, and I started going to Melbourne temple like most of you, and I started reading Prabhupada's book. The first book I read was Perfect Question, Perfect Answers, and it was mind-blowing. I said, Pop, Prabhupada has got so many answers to questions that I've been asking from my childhood. So I was just completely amazed with philosophy. It was like, bulletproof. And I'm not like, born ISKCON. So I come from, a Hindu background. And it's not that I'm telling that, in Hare Krishna there is so much of pleasure. I'm not telling you because I come from Hare Krishna. I'm only telling you because I have gone through the journey. So I'm literally, as brothers and sisters, I'm sharing you my experience. That's all. So I used to do agarbatti and nariyal and all that, which didn't make sense to me. And nobody could explain to me why agarbatti, why nariyal, why we have to give this to God. God has got everything. Didn't make sense, all these things. So then when I started going to Bhakti Vriksha like this, and I started getting a lot of answers. I came into Bhakti Vriksha with more questions than answers I ever got in my life. And I walked out of Bhakti Vriksha knowing that actually there are more answers than the amount of questions I can ask. When I started reading Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, I got the realization that my goodness, this book is just full of answers and answers. And in one purport, maybe Canto 1, Canto 2, Samaya Prabhupada writes that when questions stops, Bhagavatam starts. Something like that. So when you have exhausted all your questions, then you come to Bhagavatam, it's like your answers start coming. It's like it's a book of answers. There's ultimate answers there. Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita is a summary. Bhagavatam is much more sweeter. We'll read Bhagavatam together one day as well. So talking my own experience, I've been there, done that, been an auditor, traveled the world, bought a house, bought a car, got married, had children. But yeah, the happiness was there, but to be honest, there was more problems than happiness. Money brings you happiness, but it also brings as many problems as it solves, right? There's a saying. So when I started chanting and reading Prabhupada's book, going to the temple, Mangal Aarti, eating prasadam only, and life just changed. And every single day thereafter is just different experience to be together. It's an experience that I cannot explain. It's that nature of just being blissful in all conditions, I'm not saying troubles don't come. I'm not saying that. I go through my own fair share of problems. But Krishna gives the ability to look at those problems. If there's a traffic jam, and you are stuck in the traffic jam, then you feel the traffic jam, right? But what if you are flying in the helicopter? Then okay, chalo traffic jam hai. Abhi India mein in North India there is monsoon, there is flood. But what if you are in the helicopter? Then the flood makes no difference to you. Yeah, there is problem for sure. There is flood, but you are in the helicopter. It makes no difference to you. You are above it. So the problems are there, but you are above it. So bhakti yoga is the process of elevating you above the three modes of material nature, where when you are situated, you are untouched by the problems. It will come, but you are not affected by it. If somebody shouts at you, you say Hare Krishna. Otherwise, you retaliate. But in Hare Krishna, you are man apamana bhayo. So whether you don't feel too good when somebody praises you, and you don't feel too bad when somebody hates you. You are equipoised because it doesn't matter to you. Otherwise, when somebody says something bad to us, we get irritated, right? We want to give it back, right? Gandhi said somebody slaps you here, you slap him here, right? No, the other way around, right? So like that. But when somebody glorifies us, also it feels good, na? What do we say? फिर से कहो. कहते रहो. अच्छा लगता है. जीवन का हर सपना. सच्चा लगता है. So इतना अच्छा लगता है ना when somebody अपना बढ़ाई करते हैं. So we want more and more, दिल मांगे more, like that. But in bhakti, when somebody glorifies you, you kind of say, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Meaning, whatever you are glorifying me for is only because I am representing what Prabhupada has given us. So all glories to the Guru Maharaj. All glories to Krishna. Like that. So that's literally what the meaning of all glories to Prabhupada means. That you are giving me credit, good, thank you. But know that my only glorification is that I am representing what Prabhupada has told. So that's glorification. Like that. So karma, vikarma and akarma. And so we are talking about akarma at the moment, in karma. And let's talk about kala and then I'll open for questions. Yeah? So kala, yes?
Do you akarma can nullify just like a debit credit, both, or just negative?
Good question. And very good question. And now we'll talk about kala and then talk about it. So the question is, in when we do bad activity, we have to suffer. When we do good activity, we also get the rewards. And with our karma, when we are connecting to God, will it nullify the vikarma and the karma, or will it be three different bank accounts running contemporaneously, or will it nullify each other? That's the question. Right? It's a good question, which you asked last week as well, or somebody asked. Yeah. So let's talk about kala, and then we'll talk about that answer. So kala means time, right? Fifth subject matter of Bhagavad Gita, kala. Kalosmi, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I am time. When you see Raman Sagar Mahabharata, Mai Samay Ho. Anamika was telling me, Mai Samay Ho. So Krishna is time. That's why we should respect time, because time is Krishna. That's why you should come at 7 o'clock. If I can come from Port Melbourne by 6:50, then you should also be able to come here by 7 o'clock. I mean, of course, there will be genuine reasons to be late sometimes. But there should not be no genuine reasons to be late. चलो अभी तो chanting चल रहा होगा ना, बाद में चलेंगे. अभी तो कीर्तन चल रहा होगा. अभी आराम से चलते 7:30. So that mood is not the best. Yeah, try to be on time because kirtan is also enriching us. Pravishta karna randrena swanam bhava sororuham Dhunoti samalam Krishna sarilasya yatha sarat Bhagavatam tells us. Pravishta karna randrena. When the kirtan enters our karna, our ears, then pravishta karna randrena, pravishta karna randrena swanam bhava sururuham. Then there is that bhava of love of Krishna develops in the heart. And how does it develop? Dhunoti samalam Krishna. So in our heart at the moment there is a lot of dirt. And that dirt needs to be cleansed before Krishna can sit. Like if you invite a guest in the house, then the house is clean. You give him a nice clean place. So now we are inviting Krishna in the heart. But the heart is dirty. What is in the heart? Lust, greed, anger, ego, pride. All these things are sitting there. Then Krishna says, "Yeah, abhi bula to rahe ho. You are calling me, but thoda saaf to karo yaar. Let's clean this place up. Na, you are inviting me in your heart." And then we say, "Krishna, but साफ नहीं हो रहा है आदत से लाचार है और वही बार बार वही कर रहे हैं ना we are making the same mistake again and again Krishna साफ नहीं होगा then what does Krishna say धुनोति समलम Krishna I'll clean it don't worry मैं अपना व्यासासन खुद ही clean करूँगा so धुनोति समलम Krishna Krishna comes and cleanses our heart सरिलस्या यथा शरद just as शरद का मौसम autumn right so अभी monsoon and इसके बाद में autumn so when monsoon brings all those muddy waters onto the streets. But when the autumn rain comes, then it cleanses all those places, right? It cleans it up. Because monsoon rain is heavy, whereas autumn rain is average. So it cleans the whole muddy thing on the ground and puts it back into where the sediments are supposed to be or back in the river. So just as the autumn rain cleanses the monsoon dirt, similarly, Krishna Katha cleanses the dirt of the heart. And when the heart is cleansed of all the dirt, then it becomes what? Very soft. And when it eventually becomes very soft, then Krishna is called Makhan Chor. Why is Krishna called Makhan Chor? Because he likes things that are soft, not hard, not hard-hearted. When we are hard-hearted and full of dirt, then Krishna does not enter. But when we become soft-hearted, like butter, then Krishna comes and he steals the heart. And when he steals the heart, then we fall in love. Na? We fall in love. We don't stand in love. I say, no? इंग्लिश में बोलते we fall in love मतलब डंडवर्स ना बोल के मतलब डंडवर्स ही नोट के अभी खड़ा होकर बोलते I love you आराम से ना नम्रता लगे so with time so Krishna is time so what happens now let's go to vikarma then karma and akarma when we do bad activities in due course of time fifth subject matter kala we get the reactions very simple. So between karma and reaction there is kala. And I'll just add it, but I won't explain to you today, but I'll just add it for now. So the equation is like this. Karma plus kala plus deva is equal to reaction. Okay, repeat. Karma plus kala plus deva is equal to reaction. What is reaction? I'll explain in Sanskrit in a minute. Yeah. So when we have done an activity, in due course of time, kala, under the supervision of the deva, which is devata or bhagavan, one or the other, under the supervision of a higher authority, we will get a reaction. For example, if I have driven at 120 kilometers per hour on a 100 meters zone, in due course of time, under the supervision of the policeman, let's say, I will get the fine. It's just the due course of time. It has captured it, it has recorded it. It's just the mail comes. So that is vikarma. Bad activity in the due course of time under the supervision of the Lord, the reactions will come. So when the reaction comes, whom do we get angry with? Before you answer, look at my example. When the $250 fine comes and it gets delivered to me by the postman, should I smack the postman? Why are you giving me this fine? No, why? Why shouldn't I smack him? So the postman is nothing but just the deliverer of the message. He is delivering to us as it is. Nothing added, nothing subtracted. So the person to be blamed for the fine is me only. Agree? Now, karma. I am being growled at by somebody. Somebody is growling at me. Should I growl back at him? Why is he growling at me? Why is he abusing me? What's the cause of it? Looking at the equation. What's the cause of somebody hating me?
Sometime I did the same to that person.
You get the
or maybe
point?
someone else.
That person is nothing but the postman. What he is giving us is nothing but the reaction of something we have done in the past, whenever. So when somebody is hurting us, abusing us, whatever, doesn't mean we have to be, walkovers. That's not the point. We'll go into that later. But what it also means is that we are just getting the reaction of something we have done in the past. As simple as that. So don't shoot the messenger.
So Prabhuji, like all the people we are meeting, whether they or all the circumstances we are facing, it means everything A to Z is the reaction of our past karmic account.
100%. It's
everything.
A reaction.
So we are not creating anything, or how we are responding to them is we are creating only. That's the only part we have.
100%.
Nothing else.
Spot on. So everything that's happening to us is a reaction of our good and bad karma. Under the supervision of the devatas, we are now getting the reaction in due course of time. What we get today is called prarabdha. You know this word, right? Prarabdha means is the reaction we are getting today. Aprarabdha means the reaction we will get in the future. In accounting, we say stock, current inventory and non-current inventory.
This lifetime is prarabdha. What we are going to say is prarabdha.
Not necessarily this lifetime. At the moment, the present is prarabdha. Yeah? Tomorrow is aprarabdha. But on a longer term, his next life can also be aprarabdha. It's a combination of that. It's not such an extreme silo. Yeah. Something's happening to us will be prarabdha and a combination of aprarabdha. But generally speaking, what is happening today is prarabdha. It's called present suffering. And present happiness as well. There's at the moment the reaction of our past good activity. Thank you. Yes.
reaction आ गया तो ये नया account खुल गया.
Now the reaction is nothing but the penalty that I have to pay. The $250 that I pay is not a reaction.
उसके ऊपर जैसे react करेंगे तो तीसरा नया account.
हाँ, correct. So I can do two things with that. Let's keep the energy going so we can get the point. When the $250 fine comes as a speeding fine, I am to be blamed because I spared. Now I have got two choices with the fine. What are they? To pay it or not to pay. If I pay it, that account is cleared now. But if I don't pay and if I am legitimately wrong, then another, what do you call it? They call it, but they interest or whatever, they get to it. The penalty on top of the punishment, right? So there is your new karma now for not paying the penalty. And then it just keeps adding, it becomes bigger and bigger. So in this case, if somebody is giving us a reaction, when we react in inappropriate way, that is created a new account. So we have suffered for the past activity and now we are creating a new activity for which we will suffer. So karma reaction is only the suffering or the reward of our past activities. And it applies only in human life that you can do something with that karma. In the animal life, they cannot. Krishna has given consciousness to all species, but in the tree species, in the animal species, the ability to react in a judgmental way is not there. I'll elaborate on this point because it's bound to be one of your questions. In the animal life, all they are doing is undergoing the reaction of their past karma. They don't have the ability to decide to do right or to do wrong. In other words, animals operate on an instinctive way, in their own intuitive way. Compulsive way.
Mode.
A cow will die but not eat meat. A lion will die but not eat grass. They don't have the choice to say, I am hungry, आज मुझे omelette चाहिए. या आज तो grass ही खा लेते हैं. No, the lion doesn't think like that. It has got only one food chain, and that is its reaction. No? So in other words, if somebody is let's say, gross example, if somebody is a butcher in this life, Krishna will make him a lion in the next life to say, well, yeah, Baba, you like so much of meat, you become a lion, and in that body, you won't get any karmic reaction for eating meat, because your body is designed to eat meat. But if you do that in a human form, then you will get reactions, because in a human form, there is not your food. So when you break the food supply, which is natural arrangement, then you get reactions. So in the lion body, when the lion is eating the meat, it is not getting any karmic reaction. What it is getting is only what it has done in his previous life as a butcher. Now it's suffering as a lion. You get the point? So animal life is nothing but reducing the reactions that it's the suffering of the reactions that it is bound to suffer in that particular body. And when that is over, it naturally evolves into another body. Let's say in this time maybe he's a tree. And now he's getting the reaction of standing naked on the street for years to come. 1 year, 2 years, depending on the type of street. So for example, if somebody is very keen of dressing very inappropriately, especially in the Western world, right? They dress very scantily, sometimes it get confused whether dress heavy nahi hai, So 90% of the body is exposed, and that's not the dress code for human beings. Human body dress code is dhoti kurta sari. That's Vedic. That's Vedic. Dhoti kurta sari, very simple. No need for all the fancy clothes. So if we have got fancy clothes, that's fine. But when we are underdressed, then Krishna is saying that you like to expose your body, but not in the human body. This is not appropriate. So I'll give you a body of a tree. You can stand naked for years to come. Nobody will even admire at you because you're just a simple tree. So there is a karmic reaction of something wrong we have done in our human body. You get the point? And when it has suffered enough in the tree life, then it will evolve again into some aquatic life or demigods or human beings or microorganisms. These are called species of life. They are chalasi, lakh, yoni. In every species, then we evolve. Sometimes monkey, sometimes man, sometimes donkey. So we evolve like that. And eventually, when a lot of those bank accounts are cleared, not nullified, but just cleared because we have suffered for it, we get a human birth. In the human birth, when we get, two things happen, unfortunately and fortunately. One thing is, we get judgment. We get higher discrimination power. Krishna gives us higher intelligence. With that higher intelligence, when we do an activity, we get a reaction which the animal was not getting, which the tree was not getting, which the fish was not getting. So two things happen to human beings. We have a chance to finish off all the reactions in this lifetime and go back to Godhead, which is called liberation. Or we get entangled and create more reactions for which the cycle will continue again back to Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam. You get into different species of life. So human birth is rare because it comes after very long evolution process. And secondly, it's dangerous because it can bind us again into multiple lives or it can liberate us. Choice is ours. Krishna has given us the choice. Why? Because love means choice. You cannot put a gun on somebody's head to say you must love me. That's not love, right? You cannot put a gun on somebody's head and say love me. That's not love. Love is free. So Krishna gives us free will. Remember this concept. There is three things. God's will, free will and evil. And briefly touch on this. God's will is that will that God wants. Free will is that will that Krishna has given us, which is very minute, through which we can decide to do A or B. That's called choice. To love him or not to love him is our choice. That's called free will. It's very minute, but it is there. That will is there. And evil is that will that we decide not to love God. So God's will and evil are on the extreme spectrum. Free will is in the middle. We can go this way or we can go this way. The choice is ours. And depending on the way we go, if we go akarma, we love God, we are fine, we are blissful, we are Satchidananda. If we go this way, karma and vikarma, we are bound in something that is asat, achit and nirananda, and we suffer. In due course of time, under the supervision of the demigods. So then the natural question becomes, if this is binding, vikarma and karma are binding and we will suffer and get the rewards in due course of time, life after life, how do we finish off this bank account once and for all? And the answer is karma, bhakti. So what happens in bhakti? Before I say that, let me make one more point. There is three ways to nullify our bank account of bad activities. Okay? For the vikarma that is going to come to us as prarabdha and aprarabdha, there are three ways to tackle this. First one, easy theoretically, not in practice. First one is just to suffer. Correct, na? We have done something wrong, suffer. Account is clear.
But then you create reactions to the
You may or may not.
and
Yeah,
then-
correct. But philosophically speaking now, I got a fine, I pay it, that account is clear now. So just suffer and do it. But suffering is not easy. That's another point. But just suffer and finish it off. The next way to deal with our reaction coming to us is called atonement, which is called karma kanda. No? So a lot of time in India people will say, no, अभी प्रायश्चित करते हैं, ना? मतलब कि क्या? अभी किसी का थोड़ा से पूजा करा करे ना, some demigods they will worship, devatas, so that they can minimize the reaction coming. They can't nullify the reaction, but it can minimize the reaction. For example, again, I got a $250 fine. I can go to the court and then say, I agree, I was overspeeding. But I was overspeeding because I had a heart attack patient in my car and I was driving into the hospital. So can you please let this fine go? Or can you please at least half it? Or I can go and say, I'm under mortgage stress and I'm jobless and I cannot pay the fine. Can you push it to the future? Or can you do something about it? So those things are there. Atonement, which is amnesty, those things are possible. You can minimize the reactions coming. Or I pay the fine, or I go into a discussion to minimize the fine. Two choices, right? So karma, bad karma is coming, safa, finish it off, or do some prayashchit and try to minimize it. The third one, which is the best one, is called bhakti yoga. In bhakti yoga, what happens? Krishna takes all the sinful reactions away from us. When we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Dhunoti Samandam Krishna, Krishna is cleaning the heart. So what the other yogas do, the ritualistic activities do, they minimize the reactions. In Bhakti Yoga, the difference is what? The reactions are eradicated. Point one. Point number two, the desire for sinful actions are also eradicated. I'll explain with an example, then I'll draw this one. Because this is essential. If you get this, you are successful today. I've got a nice garden in which I want to grow roses. Now there are weeds coming. What do I do with the weeds? Two things I can do with the roots. Or three things actually. Let it grow and overpower the rose. So I've got let's say Tulsi, better example. There's Tulsi Marani growing in the garden. No? And weeds are coming. I can let the weeds grow and overpower the Tulsi Marani tree. One thing I can do. Second thing I can do is I can cut the weeds. I can cut the weeds, I have protected my Tulsi Marani. But what will happen to the weeds?
Again,
They will grow again. The third thing I can do is
pull out.
uproot the weeds completely. जड़ से उखाड़ कर फेंक देते हैं. No? अमेरिका में बोलते हैं you nip it in the bud. No? उसको जड़ से उखाड़ के फेंक दो. Then it will not come. No? So we can do three things with our reactions, karmic reactions. One, deal with it and suffer. Let the weeds grow. Second, you cut the weeds. मतलब अभी हमारा karmic reactions के you cut it. You do some atonement, prayasthita and cut it. But the root is still there, na? It will germinate again. If the greed is there, you can nullify it. But if somebody is a drunkard, you punish him for drinking. Fine him because he was drink driving. But then he'll drink again because the desire to drink is there. What can you tell? If somebody is so drunk, what can you do? How do you deal with somebody? If you find somebody who is fallen in the gutter and is so drunkard, what do you tell him? You can't tell him, tomorrow you come to Bhakti Vriksha. That's not the solution, right? Maximum you can tell him, यार चलो पियो लेकिन बड़ी महंगी है शराब, थोड़ी थोड़ी पिया करो. That's probably the maximum you can tell him. You can't tell him to stop drinking alcohol because it's not possible. And then after थोड़ी थोड़ी पिया करो, then when he comes to that level, then you tell him यार पिया करो लेकिन चढ़ना मिलता पिया करो. Like that. So you grow him gradually, right? So here the weeds are cut, but the desire for sinful activities are still there. It is called proclivity. So bhakti, what it does, it uproots the sinful desires, and at the same time eradicates the sinful reactions that are coming. So two things are happening. The aprarabdha that is coming, it removes it, and it does not allow the new prarabdha to germinate. So that the bank account is not only clear of the old ones, but the new is not created. And that is the visa to God. No karmic reactions.
प्रभु जी, जब वो सेकंड वाले में आप कह रहे हैं कि जब कोई पाठ करवा दिया, कोई यज्ञ हो गया, नलीफाई तो नहीं हुआ, पर पोस्टपोन तो हो गया.
It can be postponed, it can be minimized, but it's not.
खड़ा तो रहेगा.
Correct. The reactions in the future can be minimized. Suppose like if I was again $250 fine, it will come, but I might have to pay $200. Now the question is, why prarabdha and aprarabdha? Why has Krishna? If I have done something wrong 20 lives ago, why do I get punished today? That's not fair, right? I should have been punished then only. Why does God have to punish me after 20 lives? That doesn't sound fair. So why the time now? Subject matter of Bhagavad Gita, 858. Why so much of delay before the punishment comes? Why not instant?
The time, the circumstances has to be similar to what we did.
Because the circumstances has to be such that we can be punished. That's true answer. That's secondary answer. Primary answer.
So that we realize and we don't do it and we come towards the Godhead by suffering.
Anybody else?
What if we are just postponing it and we are suffering now?
Yeah.
What if we kept postponing it and now we have to suffer?
Yeah. Well, we don't have a choice to postpone it. Postponement is the when it comes to us as the subject under the authority of the devas. It's not our choice. Abhi nahi se bolte ki now I'll try to suffer. Now I'll get today. I'll hate myself. We don't have the choice. That's why I said karma plus deva plus kala is equal to suffering. So it's beyond our choice. That choice we have. The choice is only to do the action. The reaction is outside our control. So then why the time? The time is there, as Mataji is saying, Deepika, no? Yeah. The time is there because Krishna gives us the opportunity to rectify ourselves. Through the process of bhakti yoga, if we can eradicate the sinful reaction that's coming, then that's a win-win situation, right? So Krishna gives time only so that we can rectify the problem we have done. Sarva dharman parityaja mam ekam sharanam raja aham tvam sarva papebhya. Third line of 18.66. This is conclusion of Bhagavatam. So sarva dharman parityaja. Forget everything else, Arjun. Mam ekam sharanam raja. Come to me. Sharanagati to me. Bhakti yoga. Aham, me. Tvam, you. Sarva papebhya. Whatever pap you have done, mokshishyami. I will liberate you from those sinful reactions and I will remove your sinful desires. And you will become a civilized, pure devotee. Sucha. Don't worry. So conclusion of all that karma is what? Forget karma, forget vikarma. Do karma, which is bhakti yoga. And the best way to do bhakti yoga in Kali Yuga is chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And that will fix us and reinstate us back into bhakti, which will give us bliss. Bhakti is blissful. Raj Vidya Raj Guhya Pavitra Vidamuttamam Prataksha Avavagam Dharmam Sukham Karto Avayam. Krishna tells us in Bhagavad Gita chapter 9. Bhakti is sukham. Isme pleasure hai. And I'm telling you again with my own experience. There is bliss in this. Problems will come, but there is bliss in this. And that bliss is, how do I explain to you? Melodic how? Khud janta. That's probably the best I can tell you. Khakar to dekho, na? And if you don't like it, then don't come. But if you like it, then come. Okay. 9 o'clock on the dot. What do we do?
I have one question.
Yeah.
So when we do bhakti, like in this lifetime as a human we are doing bhakti, so we cut our prarabdhas from like suppose like we are born for particular sanchit karma we have like picked by like nature or law of karma. This person will go through this from birth to the death. Now if that person has realized and come under in a bhakti yoga, so of that lifetime he is going to cut those karmas and also what about other karmas, sanchit, like hold the silo you like mentioned, so he will cut them as well?
Yeah. All karmic reactions are cut. At the time of initiation, all karmic reactions are cut. But we still suffer. Prabhupada gives the example of the fan, the rotating fan that we used to have. When you pull the fan out of the plug, when you put the socket out, what happens to the fan? Immediately? Now after a certain revolution it stops, right? So now when you initiation in diksha means you have now cut off the supply of the reactions. But although the electricity is not coming, the fan is revolving because of its revolution from the speed that it was getting. So our sinful reactions are now cut. But we still get some token reaction because it's still spinning at a very, otherwise it was coming like a cyclone. But through initiation what we have done is reduce it into a momentarily reaction that will stop very soon. But what happens if we put the plug back into the socket? And it will go again. No? So doing sinful actions is like you have taken initiation or you've taken bhakti yoga, but you keep the plug back into the socket. Then you are trying to stop the fan and also trying to let it running. It's like you are trying to extinguish a fire by putting fuel into it. It will not happen. No? So idea is to extinguish the fire. Correct? That's our sinful reaction. So how are you going to extinguish the fire? Put a lot of water on it. Simple. Don't put fuel on it anymore. But what we do, unfortunately, while we are trying to put water on the fire, which is our Hare Krishna Mahamantra, this is our water, but time to time we also put fuel onto it, petrol. So फिर वो आगे फिर से होगा ना. So more fuel, more water, less fuel. Maybe that's the starting point. Eventually we come to the point, hopefully, of only water. Then the fire of sinful reactions are gone. Yeah, that's why it says Bhakti Yoga burns our sinful reaction. Why it burns? When the forest, when something is burned, it is turned to ashes. Then it can't regrow. So Bhakti Yoga burns our sinful reactions. Matlab, it's not only it's up. So the two examples Acharya gives us, it uproots, so it doesn't root again, and it burns. Matlab abhi ashes ho gaya. So once it's ashes, it will not grow again. So Bhakti Yoga burns our sinful reactions. And one time, one sage was coming from door to door, and he was asking for charity, and he met always one couple who was very, very rude, and they would never give him anything, especially the housewife. He would try to chase the sage away, and the sage kept coming back, yeah, years after years, and the housewife was getting more and more grumpy at him, but he kept coming. And one day she decided, this is enough. I'm going to stop in 5 minutes. And he said, this is enough. She said, this is enough now. I don't want you to come back. So she was thinking, so what happened? She gave him ash. Ash ko kya bolte hain Hindi mein? Rag, na? We're talking about Bhakti Yoga burns into ashes, so I remember this story. So she gave him ash. And when the sage took the ash, it was cold by then, and the sage smiled. And this lady was, my goodness, I've given you rag, I've given you ash, and you are smiling? Because she was thinking that he will think, nah, enough, and I'm not going to come back. And she was smiling. Then she said, why are you smiling? He said, I can see there's a positive transformation happening in you. For 2 years you have given me nothing. Today you have given me ash. So at least the intention of giving is developing in you. So I'm liking that aspect in you, and I'm smiling. And the lady was quite impressed. And she said, okay, I can understand. But I'm giving you ash. I mean, this is wrong. For no use. Why are you still smiling and happy with the ash? And then the sage said, today you have given me ash. Tomorrow you might give me cash. I just wanted to end with a joke so you can all smile. Okay, yes?
प्रभु जी जब वो भक्ति कर्मा करना डिवोशनल सर्विस कर तो पाप भी जाएगा तो पुण्य भी जाएगा.
Correct. Punya will also go. So the karma and the vikarma are both destroyed.
We nullify it.
Correct. Because otherwise, if you get the punya reaction, then you have to take birth again, na? If we have given somebody food, then we have to take birth for the food to come to us. So that is still binding. So that's why Krishna says mode of goodness, sattva guna is also binding. Because you have to come back to enjoy that. Coming back is there. So we need to nullify both through bhakti yoga. Okay, we should stop there. It's 9 o'clock. Not 9:07. We will stop here. Thank you very much, for allowing me to be here for 2 weeks. I was just back feeling Parthasarthi Babu and Vishabhanu Mataji, my good friends. Krishna willing, might come back again one more day. You are all very fantastic audience actually. Thoroughly enjoyed. So many intelligent people. So many questions as well, and so many attentive listeners. In Bhakti Yoga, like so quickly we bond with each other, So, like if you see me at the temple, then say Hare Krishna, and reintroduce yourself as from here, from this particular suburb, Menda. So then I can relate to you. Some of the faces I kind of know pretty clearly now, like gel with you for some reason, because you are sitting in the front, maybe that's why. So Krishna
Maybe
will
past good karma.
good reactions, yeah. Must have been my sister or mother last time. Like that. Okay, so we'll park it here. Bhagavatam ki jai, Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Neta Bhakti Vriksha ki jai. So we open up.